Recent conflict in northeast Nigeria, prompted by Boko Haram, has led to widespread displacement, violations of international humanitarian and human rights law, protection risk, and a growing humanitarian crisis. Now, entering its 7th year, the crisis shows no sign of abating. It's mealtime in this family of 6 as the children stare longingly at the rather small pot of food, which looks barely enough to go round. This scene plays out countless times at the camps in the northeastern state, where hunger is rampant. Desperate faces in lamentation over their worsening fate at the camps. Filled with anxiety, both young and old are eager to show the world the magnitude of hunger and malnutrition that have hit the camps. Many of the displaced raised disturbing cries over diversion of food supply meant for them. What followed is protest in camps in Borno State.
There is inadequate appropriation. For instance, in this year's budget, the 2 agencies that are into both disaster preparedness and emergency assistance, as well as, the management, protection needs, as well as assistance, that is the National Commission for Refugees, have a combined budget of less than 3 billion naira. 3 billion naira, by my calculation, can only give lunch to IDPs for a week, a population of that 2.2 million, and it is finished. Right now, there is a huge inventory stock of food and non-food items at Nigerian ports. They have not been cleared, and they are destined for the internally displaced persons, especially in the northeast. There is a need actually to have a focal point that will coordinate all these combined activities by both governmental and non-governmental organizations and all stakeholders indeed. Because right now it appears that it is a free-for-all. It's for free-for-all. Everyone does his own, and it is only when there is coordination that you will be able to monitor and evaluate, and then also address the issues of incipient corruption. From time to time, you also read in the media about diversion of, relief agencies, relief materials that are meant for IDPs, as well as the issue of rule of engagement.
We received some information that there are some who sell out the food for their own selfish interests. But this food, believe me, is in partnership with the WFP. World Food Program is in partnership with the ICRC and all the food security sector. It has been calculated based on individual ratio, which I think the amount of food required in kilocalorie per individual is about 380 grams. And when you multiply it by 30, and then we multiply it by the number of the household, it will give us exact required food in terms of the cereal. We will replicate same impulses, the fat and oil, and the protein aspect we will substitute it by giving them beans. And we are giving them some flours, sugars, and all form of condiments with the support of the state government. I am sure this is the best way, and you can see from their face how they are responding. We have beat 1 or 2 challenges in terms of the distribution because of rainy season, and it's in August. It requires a lot of, energy, workmanship, and a lot of plans before. But the challenge we experienced in the first 1 month is that those that we registered them prior to the distribution, now people are trooping into the camps in host communities in anticipation of the distribution period. This is a great challenge, and we receive a lot of complaints that they want to stay in the camps, and we must to see how we're going to cover the gap.
UN officials were able to make a needs assessment earlier in August 2016 and found a severe lack of food, medicine and complete destruction of infrastructure, leading to shortages of safe drinking water and even teachers in schools.
Rashin abinci kam sosai wallahi muna karancin shi, ko akwai shinkafa ma ba abin da zaka dafa da shi, ba wannan ma ba karanci ba, za a dafa gayan shinkafa da gishiri, wani ma ba gishiri ya zo ya dafa, ga rashin abanan gawayi ma haka. Albarkacin chairman ya kawo mana gawayi a kwanaki wannan ya mana soki ba ma a haka nan komai abin da akwai babu. Chairman na abanan local government namu shi ya kawo mana gawayi a kwanaki wannan ya taimake mu. Yanzu in ba haka ba karancin su sosai muna da shi wallahi, abinci bai ishe mu ba.
In a recent research, the United Nations for Humanitarian Crisis reveals that 4 million people in Nigeria would be in urgent need of food by September 2016, owing to the Northeast insurgency. The violent conflicts in the Northeast has led to widespread displacement and a growing humanitarian crisis. Now entering its 7th year, the crisis shows no sign of abating, especially in Borno State, which harbors about 1.4 million internally displaced persons. In Borno State particularly, the United Nations Children's Emergency Fund reveals that nearly 244,000 children are suffering from severe acute malnutrition, and an estimated 49,000 of them, about 1 in 5, will die if they do not receive urgent treatment.
Wherever we go, we find that IDPs are marginalized. They need special attention. And not all the legal policy frameworks of government sometimes are directed towards IDPs. And therefore, promoting IDP policies and legal frameworks becomes one way of having an effective response. In this sense, we take note of the fact that an IDP policy has been on the table for quite some time in Nigeria. We are keen to understand the reasons why it has not moved forward, what we need to do to move it forward in terms of advocacy, and to have it adopted.
Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, has seen its population more than double with the influx of people displaced from other areas of the state. The disruption to basic services like healthcare, clean water and sanitation has made the people susceptible to diseases. For instance, in September 2015, a cholera outbreak infected over 1,000 people in IDP camps and surrounding communities in Maiduguri.
Major problem is malnutrition, but if the government will assist or other organization to add more food items or ingredient, I would say ingredient. So we will, the simple case of a disease, if you have no nutrient in your disease, it will be more, the disease is still expanding. And if there is sufficient food, I think everything will be done, inshallah.
An estimated 262,000 people have returned to their places of origin in northern Adamawa to find their communities devastated, houses and public infrastructure destroyed, and the security situation still fragile.